Yaba left and Yaba right, which one of them actually looks like there's a problem? Right? Right or left? Right. Abi? Because, and I think one of the reasons why they're trying to also encourage people, especially with the hospital, they've started renting out their halls so that people can come inside and see how serene the environment, calming it is. Because a lot of times when people think, oh, we're sending him to Yaba left, there's a problem with him. But really, the people on Yaba right, that's where the big problem is. And you know, and it's not easy living in a state like Lagos, especially when you're dealing with a lot of stressors, going in traffic from wherever you live to work, from work, you're going to deal with all the struggles at work, dealing with a boss that is difficult, dealing with employees that are maybe sometimes funny, and also dealing with customers or clients that also come to see you. You finish dealing with all of that, and then you have to also find your way home. Sometimes you will struggle with trying to get petrol inside your car, as you see now, or you're trying to get a bus. You now get home. You now have to also, especially our mothers, you have to also struggle with trying to make sure that your children have done their homework. You also have to cook for daddy, or daddy too also has to play his own part before you now go to bed. And then you now wake up at 4 a.m. again the next day to start the cycle all over again. I imagine doing that every day, every day, every day. You can now understand why sometimes in traffic, especially if you own a car, when you're trafficating that you want to turn left, that's when the person on the other side is struggling to say that you cannot pass, right? Or a small thing happens and people come out of their cars and they are saying things like the very common schizophrenia, psychosis, and all those other things that we see in our movies and on TV. But a lot of people are somewhere in between here, struggling between good mental health and poor mental health. And there are many things that can make us perhaps maybe just say a prayer with that person, or try to look for ways to support that person. That will help the person rebound and move closer to the side and recover quicker. So I'm saying this because I've had contacts with a lot of people who have lost loved ones. And one of those things that they say, all of them, for some reason, and they've not met with each other, they tell you that one of the most annoying things to them is when someone comes there and don't worry, it is well, it will be well. That's not what they want to hear right now. It's better you don't say anything. Give them a hug, sit with them, give them something to eat, give them water, and tell them certain things that will trigger them. So we also need to learn the right language, learn the right terminology, learn the right words that can actually encourage people and not make things worse. I will also talk about it from the perspective of someone who is superior to you or junior to you, and also from the perspective of a parent to a child. What do you look out for in a child to know that the person is dealing with certain things? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because the trend is increasing. We are losing a lot of young people more and more every day. And we lose them either to death or we lose them to very poor mental health because they decide to succumb to certain triggers, like using substances to make themselves feel better. Now, there are a lot of us, some of us have known people who they have very dear friends who say that, I still saw this person yesterday, he was still jolly, happy, dancing around, and tomorrow you hear the person killed himself. Scripturally, it is wrong, we know that. But then you wonder what was that person struggling with, because it doesn't show on people's faces. There was a movie that I was seeing with my wife a few months ago, typical Nollywood style. It was a Yoruba film. There was this woman who was poorly dressed, who was supposed to depict someone who is not okay upstairs. And then there's this other young man wearing a nice shirt, jeans, and nice shoes, and he went to meet him, was hailing the girl, and say, some there. And there are a lot of people who are going around every day wearing nice shirts, smelling nice, wearing nice clothes, putting on a sort of a smile. And the face mask is even making it worse. People can hide their smiles under that mask, and they're struggling, they're crying when they're at home. But when you see them outside, you think everything is well. But then next thing you hear that the person has killed himself. And it's happening a lot, and it's happening a lot more. There used to be a time that used to have about maybe 6 people out of every 100,000 people who would kill themselves by suicide. But now we have 8, and the numbers are increasing. It's estimated by 2030, which is just 7 years from now, it will be one of the leading causes of death in Nigeria. In that same 2030, it is also estimated that substance abuse will be a leading epidemic in our country amongst young people. So there's a lot that we need to do. So how do you recognize someone who is struggling? A lot of times, people who are struggling with their mental health may not even realize it. They just find that you would see that this person used to be punctual to work or punctual tired.